called Operation Rising Lion. Israeli warplanes attacked strategic sites throughout Iran and in Tehran itself. Just after the attack began, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the nation and the world.
This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons.
He warned Iran was on the verge of those nuclear weapons.
In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival.
President Trump had given Iran 2 months, 60 days to negotiate an end to its nuclear program. That deadline passed Thursday, and Israel attacked on day 61. On Thursday, before Operation Rising Lion began, Prime Minister Netanyahu prayed at the Kotel and placed a note in the Western Wall. It read from Numbers chapter 23, "He shall rise like a lion and lift himself like a lioness." Netanyahu ended his message quoting Moses.
Over 3,000 years ago, Moses gave the people of Israel a message that has steeled their resolve ever since. Be strong and courageous, he said. Today, our strong and courageous soldiers and people stand together to defend ourselves against those who seek our destruction. And by defending ourselves, we defend many others, and we roll back a murderous tyranny.
Hello and welcome to this YouTube Live. I'm Chris Mitchell coming to you from the Jerusalem CBN News studio here on day 5 of Operation Rising Lions. We are living in historic times. We are living in biblical times. Just incredible what things are happening just in the last 5 days. We are talking about that on later on Jerusalem Dateline and just talking about the spiritual convergence, the geopolitical, and the prophetic days that we're living in. But first, here's a story that we did today, just some of the latest developments here in Israel, Iran, and also in the White House with President Trump. As he left Canada, Trump wrote on Truth Social, "Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign." Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. A massive exodus of people are fleeing Iran's capital, as Israeli officials also urged thousands of people in Tehran on Monday to evacuate ahead of airstrikes. There are reports Iran is sending urgent signals to end the war and resume nuclear talks if the U.S. does not join the fight. Talking to ABC News, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he doesn't see signs Iran is serious about ending the war.
Well, we're going to see if Iran is serious about dismantling their nuclear program, dismantling their missile capacity, dismantling the terror axis that terrorizes everybody in the Middle East and well beyond. If they agree to all of that, obviously, the war could end. If they lay down their arms, they lay down their weapons of mass death, that's different. But so far they haven't done it.
Netanyahu also said Israel will not rule out targeting the Ayatollah because taking him out would end the conflict. The IDF says it's hit more than 250 targets across Iran, estimating it's destroyed a third of the regime's ballistic missile launchers and continues to strike military infrastructure, surface-to-surface missiles, and UAVs. As in Gaza, Lebanon, and Yemen, Israel sent evacuation warnings to civilians in Tehran to avoid military targets. Monday night, Netanyahu said the campaign is far from over.
We have more goals, and we're really going to do a root canal here. We're changing the face of the Middle East, and this can lead to far-reaching changes, even within Iran itself.
Iran today is seeing the fastest growth of Christianity than in any other country in the world today. And they are on fire. The church
CBN's George Thomas has reported extensively on the underground church in Iran.
The church is on fire. The Iranian regime is scared to death of the rising evangelical movement inside the country. Not so much about a threat, that they want to depose the regime politically, but they want to bring a new spirit to the country. And there's a tremendous prayer movement that has been unleashed across Iran for many, many years. So many people seeing dreams and visions, seeing Jesus Christ in dreams and visions.
He says believers inside Iran need prayer now more than ever.
So pray for continued boldness and the strength and the courage in the days ahead, because the regime, when they're cornered, when they're under the spotlight and under the gun, so to speak, they tend to take their frustration and their anger on their own people.
As George Thomas said, what's happening spiritually in Iran is one of the phenomena happening in the world today, and especially here in the Middle East. As he said, one of the fastest growing church in all of the world. Many of these people are just fervent believers. They suffer under great persecution, and they have to worship and exercise their faith under great peril because of what the police would do, because of what the Iranian Revolutionary Guard would do. As George said, it's important to be praying for them, praying for their protection, and praying that they would be used by God for such a time as this. It's really an important time for the church there in Iran that can really play a key role spiritually in what's happening. It's such a hard time right now to keep up with what's happening. Here are some of the things that have happened just in the past several hours. What President Trump did post on Truth Social earlier today, what he did is he contradicted any reports that he's engaged with negotiations with Iran. He wrote, "I have not reached out to Iran for, quote, peace talks in any way, shape, or form. It's highly fabricated fake news. And if they want to talk, they know how to reach me. They should have taken the deal that was on the table, would have saved a lot of lives." And we should expect some more clarity of what President Trump and his national security team will decide. He went back from Canada and he went into the into that meeting room where they talked about what they're going to do next. So that will be something we expect to hear maybe in the next several hours. In the meantime, we are seeing this massive exodus out of Tehran. Now, Netanyahu said he won't rule out killing Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. He said if it did happen, it would end the conflict. But what's happening inside Iran right now is just sometimes borderline miraculous. This is an operation of what Israel has been planning for probably about 20 years. They're taking out many of the missile launchers, taking out many of the missiles, the ballistic missiles that Israel has been preparing, that Iran has been preparing to terrorize Israeli civilians. So what's happening right now? As I said, in 5 days, the IDF, Mossad, and other people have just done an incredible operation. What they have done is eliminated much of the top leadership of Iran and many of the nuclear scientists. So, and actually, I understood earlier today they've actually destroyed some of the knowledge, some of the backup material, nuclear material of Iran right now. So, we're living in just historic times right now, and certainly a time to be praying for what's happening in Iran, what's happening here in Israel. And as I said, 20 senior military leaders. In fact, Gideon Sar, he's the foreign minister of Israel. The IDF has eliminated not only one chief of staff of the Iranian army, but the second one. And Gideon Sar said, we don't know who the successor of the successor will be, but he recommends that whoever takes that position thinks it through, because if he accepts it, extreme caution is recommended. So what are some of the people saying about this moment in history? It's a hinge of history, meaning that we're really at a historic change here in the Middle East with ramifications around the world. As I said, we're seeing an unprecedented military operation. Some people liking it to the 1967 Six-Day War. We might be witnessing the fall of the most ruthless dictatorship in the Middle East, and we have profound geopolitical and even spiritual consequences going on right now. So this is just such a time to be alive here. And I want to read to something that just came out on Truth Social. It was posted by President Trump, and it was a message from Ambassador Mike Huckabee, who we interviewed here in this very studio just a week ago today. And he wrote this to President Trump. And I think it's just an amazing message and such a timely and godly message. And here it goes. Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, PA, to be the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever. The decisions on your shoulders I would not want to be made by anyone else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir, but there is only one, capital one, voice that matters, his voice. I am your appointed servant in this land, and I am available to you, but I do not try to get in your presence often because I trust your instincts. No president in my lifetime has been in a position like yours, not since Truman in 1945. I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven, and that voice is far more important than mine or anyone else's. You sent me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, and to make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. It is my honor to serve you. Signed, Mike Huckabee. To me, that's such a timely message that he could give to the President of the United States with so much on his shoulders and on his heart. And so I think it'd be a great time to pray for President Trump, for Ambassador Mike Huckabee, for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, all men, I believe, who have been called for such a time as this to be in these historic biblical times and to make such weighty, important decisions that will affect millions and will affect the course of history. So thanks for joining us on this update here, June 17th, 2025, 5 days into Operation Rising Lions.